My name is Tarmack, and this is your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of April 29th, 2017. Ubisoft is in a little bit of trouble, as I've reported in the past, with an encroaching buyout by Vivendi. Vivendi currently owns roughly 25% of Ubisoft, and sources close to the situation have said that, quote, Vivendi is moving to the second phase. Everything will take place this year, end quote. This is the danger of being a public company, because when you sell shares on the open market, anyone can buy those shares, including people you don't want. And if someone with a big enough pot of money shows up and buys enough shares, they might just own your company. This, for those who don't know, is why it's called a hostile takeover. That said, given how Vivendi likes to handle its video game interests and how they sold their stake in Activision Blizzard just months before Overwatch launched, a move that was about as smart as shutting down your wedding photography business on February 13th, it's possible a Vivendi infusion of cash and some different folks at the top could result in better products 3 to 4 years from now. Until then, cross your fingers and remember, Ubisoft never really cared about you, so feeling sorry for them is a bit on the silly side. Phil Spencer, Xbox chief extraordinaire, in an interview with The Guardian, made a number of comments and comparisons to digital services like Netflix and HBO. He spoke about the possibility of Microsoft operating cloud services, providing long-term support for developers, and the telltale episodic model of story-driven content with a subscription base much like Netflix uses. I'm certainly interested to see Microsoft move in the direction of a wider subscription for access to a large library of games. But the connection to more episodic games and the inevitable continuous development funding requirements worry me a little bit. Still, I've got to credit Microsoft for looking to other massively successful models that happen to be very consumer-friendly. That said, I really wish that they'd go in a different direction with their store. I just hope they don't try to use the Netflix UI as a model for the Windows Store, because it wouldn't be much of an improvement. Nintendo has announced the new 2DS XL handheld. According to their comparison chart on the Nintendo website, it has all of the functionality of the 3DS XL, just without the 3D bit. It's a 3DS XL with less plastic and no 3D, with a suggested retail price of $150, $50 less than the 3DS XL itself. Looks like a great device, to be honest. And the best part, as is essentially required for mobile gaming devices, it has a revolutionary screen protector to make sure that you don't scratch your screen when playing on the go. Another story this week revolves around a guy by the name of Adam Mudd. Back when he was 16, My Name is Mudd made a program called Titanium Stressor, which was, after selling hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of software online via normal payments and through Bitcoin, responsible for massive denial-of-service attacks against Sony and Microsoft infrastructure, among others. You may remember the downtime throughout 2014. Well, Mr. Mudd, 20 years old now, is off to prison for 2 years. His lawyer argued that this was just someone seeking friendship and status in the gaming community. Now, I understand the need to protect youth against some element of poor choice. A teen getting caught with drugs or alcohol needs to not have their life ruined. Someone spray painting a train car, fine, no biggie. But you write sophisticated software capable of being sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars to disrupt online infrastructure around the world. In my humble opinion, you should get precisely the same treatment as the impressively mature teens who make great society-benefiting products and also make a ton of money. They get all the credit for the good decisions they make, and so does Adam Mudd for the bad ones that he went with. Not a lot of sympathy here. And the final story of the week, Roger Jr., the boxing kangaroo, has been cut from Tekken 7. Katsuhiro Harada, the executive producer on the game, explained that this was due to animal activists. But his statements had something of an oddity that I'm having a difficult time wrapping my head around. Quote, there was a video of a man's dog being headlocked by a kangaroo and he punched it in the face. It turned into a big problem. People were complaining about him punching a kangaroo. It seems that in the last few years, there's a lot more animal activists. Even though they probably wouldn't play our game, they would still hear about that, about a kangaroo in our game being punched, and they would complain about it. End quote. I'll give you a brief half moment to let that sink in. They removed the kangaroo character, a canonical character since Tekken 5, but who has limited appearances in the series before then, because of the perception of future complaining. Not that I really care all that much about a kangaroo in boxing gloves, but they left Kuma, the bear in the game, because he's obviously stronger than a human being. This whole situation is one big punchline. Your game releases for the week of April 30th to May 6th are as follows. On May 2nd, an indie game called Tumbleseed will be released on the Switch, PS4, PC, and Mac. Tumbleseed is described as a roguelike about balancing a seed on a platform as it rolls up a procedurally generated mountain. The mountain has loads of different obstacles from holes to enemies, and it's your job to make it as high as possible. This one actually looks like a really slick Nintendo Switch title, as you'd be able to play by angling the Switch back and forth. This is a slow week for releases. Finally, Bethesda is totally unrelated to the original franchise, but we like the name because it's familiar to people, titled Prey, will be releasing on May 5th on PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. There's a demo out on Xbox One and PlayStation 4, but not on PC for some reason that I'm sure has nothing to do with frame rate. You can expect rushed reviews to come out that are blatantly over-positive for the game, as media will have had insufficient time to play it and review it properly. Can you tell that I'm still not happy with the Bethesda review code situation? Is it that obvious? I'm sure it will totally be a great release, just like Doom was, even though it's the parent studio responsible for the Dishonored series, not the Doom franchise. Yeah, it'll definitely be more like Doom quality. This has been your Game Industry News Wrap-Up for the week of April 29th, 2017. The feedback loop topic for the Wednesday live stream this week will be on the topic of video games and gambling, so get your comments and questions down below. I'll be covering Valve, Konami, Blizzard, and aspects of both casinos and traditional video game-related stuff, so there's a good chance that, unlike I promised with 20 to 30-minute videos, this one will be pretty long, but we'll see. You can follow me on twitch.tv/TarmackGaming to tune in live at 7 p.m. MST on Wednesday, and at Gnomecast on Twitter for more short-form game industry snark. My name is Tarmack. Thanks for watching.